Before we get to the movie, I want to talk about trick-or-treating memories. I have a lot of good ones. I went as Darth Vader one year. A little foreshadowing. And there was one year where there was this weird line of store-bought costumes. They weren't based on any franchise. It was a vinyl smock.
Mm-hmm. Everything was vinyl back in the 70s.
And face makeup. And this big inflatable head that you'd blow up and you'd strap to your head.
Weird flashback. I'm not completely picturing it, but there's a little bit of a something in my head.
I happened across an old commercial late night on YouTube for these costumes. They were called Kooky Spooks.
Well, here come the Kooky Spooks, the Halloween costume kits that make it easy for mom and make it tons of fun for the kids. And each costume kit comes with everything your child needs for a complete disguise.
I was entranced by this commercial. I insisted that my mom take me out so we could buy one. Now, there were 4 colors. Mm-hmm. There was yellow, green, red, and black. And I chose the black one. So I'm telling it to the world. There was one Halloween where I dressed in blackface. And I'm just trying to get ahead of the scandal. I've got a bunch of movies that I've never seen before. You don't know what they are. Every episode, I'm going to spring one on you. It might be good. It might be bad. We'll watch it and talk about it. Welcome to the basement. So, Craig, it's Halloween. What is your costume this year besides the obvious?
As a fan of Beat the Devil, I've come as the Devil.
The Devil. I'm going to beat your ass later on.
Yes.
Because I'm a little bull. I didn't really wear one. I got a funny shirt. It's got fish all over it. It looks like the sea, where Fa and Bee swim in Day of the Dolphin. There you go.
There we go.
I am about to present to you our third horror movie of Scary October. This is such a horror movie that it has horror in the title. And if you're thinking about doing any house hunting anytime soon, this movie might dissuade you because it is the Amityville Horror.
Buzz.
I never saw this, and I'll tell you exactly why. My sister, who's 10 years older than me, she saw it, and she said to me, "This is the scariest movie ever made. You can never watch it because it'll scare you too much." And I've listened to her until tonight. Released in 1979, TAH stars James Brolin, Rod Steiger, and Basement alum Margot Kidder.
Oh, yes, you know Superman.
It was directed by Stuart Rosenberg and based on the novel of the same name by Jay Anson. This is another film produced by American International Pictures. It grossed over $80 million in the US and was the highest grossing independent film of all time until 1990, when it was surpassed by Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
An independent film.
Amityville composer Lalo Schifrin was Oscar nominated for Best Original Score.
For this movie or for something else?
For this movie.
Schifrin my timbers.
There have been a total of 12 Amityville movies over the years, including a 2005 reboot starring Ryan Reynolds. And there have been 9 books on the subject. So let's find out what all the fuss is about.
My grandmother lived in Amityville.
Well, this year, trick-or-treating might not be in the cards for you, but that doesn't mean you can't decorate your house, and this gift will help you do that.
Spooky gift. Oh, hello. It's a little pumpkin head.
That is a solar dancing pumpkin.
Hooray for Peter. Hooray for Peter Pumpkinhead.
Well, the realtor has dropped off the keys. All you need to do is unlock the door and come inside and sit on the spooky old leather couch as we engage in the horror that is the Amityville Horror. Blow winds and crack them cheeks.
November 13th, 1974. A perfect day to murder your whole family.
Thrill me. Several years later, George and Kathy Lutz are house hunting.
Newlyweds.
There's nothing like it on the market.
It's so filled with blood and curses.
This your first house?
No, we've been in the house before.
I'll be in the kitchen.
With Dinah. And this house is a steal.
Sure, a family was murdered in it, but the price is right. They buy it.
Why do they always stick me with the haunties? That's what they call them in the biz.
It's because she can't get the Glen Gary leads. 1 month later, the Lutz family are moving into their new house. It's already afternoon. He spent the morning blow-drying his hair.
Nobody likes a quitter.
Nobody likes a kidder. She has 3 kids from a previous marriage.
And, of course, Harry the dog.
One of the first things they unpack is their crucifix. They're good Catholics, you know. Well, George just started being a Catholic.
Father Delaney stops by.
Hello?
Is anyone here a contender?
Or could have been.
He just lets himself in, wanders around.
Kathy!
Can I help myself to the refrigerator? Kathy asked him to come by and bless the house. Are you making love? Can I come in? Hey, I found $1 on the floor. Can I keep it? He sees the family out front. They're having fun. I'm not going to bother them. I'm just going to do my business and then I'll go. But he sees these weird flies on the window. And suddenly the room is full of flies. And suddenly Father Delaney is full of flies. I feel like a bowl of potato salad at a picnic. Get out! Father Delaney runs away.
Hello?
It is me, Krezhnev.
Now he's Krezhnev.
I'm sorry, what was his name?
Krezhnev. Kathy, listen to me. I was at your house and this weird thing happened. But the phone starts to get staticky and Kathy can't hear him.
Kathy, can you hear me?
Kathy, can you touch me?
The phone also burns his hand and makes him sick.
I think Ma Bell's gone wacko again.
I think Ma Bell's got the ill communication.
Somebody let all the flies out. Meanwhile, later, George wakes up at 3:15 for the first time.
He wanders around the house. Hey, check this out. It's not just a mask. It's a handy pen holder. Suddenly, black cat!
Oh, Sadie, no!
Day 4 of living in the house, and George is out chopping wood. See, they've got that nifty fireplace, and the house always seems so cold all the time.
Amy informs him that she has a new friend in the house. Her name is Jody.
And does your friend Jody like sugar cookies too?
Sugar cookies, what a waste of carbs.
Kathy calls Father Delaney to see why he hasn't stopped by yet. Father Boland says, well, he did stop by yesterday, but you weren't around, and he's not feeling very well and he can't talk.
So a fly face and a burned hand has put this guy out of commission for 4 days.
Kathy's aunt stops by. She's a nun.
And the house doesn't like her.
The house will have none of her.
And she says, I gotta go. Later on in the car, the house has a plumbing problem, and let me tell you, this is the mother of all plumbing problems. Look out, kids, it's Venom! TSIF, thank Satan, it's Friday. George is building a fire. That seems to be his main thing these days. You can tell he's been possessed because now his hair lacks body and lift.
I don't know what the hell's the matter with me.
It's all that saltpeter I've been taking.
That night at 3:15, Kathy wakes up with an announcement.
She was shot in the head!
The priests are out driving around. They're trying to go to the Lutz house, I think, and they lose control of the car. But what was it, demons? Sorry, Father, I thought you were Mike Pence. They're preparing for Kathy's brother Jimmy's wedding.
Jimmy is counting out the money for the caterer. $1,500.
I'm just real happy for you, that's all.
I'm happy for you, and that's all. I no longer love my kids or my husband. I'm not interested in my job. I'm just happy for you, and that's all. Jimmy puts the money in his pocket, and the money vanishes. Those ghosts are somewhere making it rain. Don't worry, I'll pay the guy a check. He'll take it. Amy is at home with the babysitter.
Babysitter gets trapped in a closet.
This isn't funny. She's going to say, this isn't funny.
Amy?
This isn't funny.
Open the door.
This isn't funny.
Amy? I'm in the closet. Open the door.
What isn't this?
Amy? Come to the door. Open it.
I guess it is funny.
Amy doesn't help her, and neither does Jody.
The folks come home. They let the girl out. What's wrong with you, Amy? Why didn't you let her out of the closet? You heard her screaming.
Jody wouldn't let me.
Buh. Day 8. Blair the Pearl. Blame. Oh, yeah.
Delaney meets with the senior priests in the church. Satan is in the house. Satan was in the car. I was in the house, and Satan maybe is in me. Who knows?
You're talking crazy. We have to have the house open for the 4th of July weekend.
Well, has that become the fashion now to cover up?
We're the Catholic Church. We've covered up a lot in the past, and we can cover up a lot right now.
Stupid wood!
Jeffrey is George's work partner.
I don't want to go any closer. It gives me the creeps.
I currently have the heebies, and if I go any closer, I'll have the jeebies too. Hey, George, you gotta sign these payroll checks. George, you haven't been coming into work. George says, I just want to chop wood. Ha ha!
George, I have to talk to you.
We never talk anymore, George. You just talk to wood and fires. I have a theory about this. You might think this is a little strange. You might disagree. I think he's going to murder his family with an axe.
George goes into one of the rooms filled with flies.
Why can't I open the window? Why did the front door just explode? Get out to the hardware store tomorrow.
George goes up to check on the flies, and all the flies are gone. The detective on the scene was the same guy who was there for the last murders.
I'm getting too old for this unexplained paranormal phenomena. George seems to think that there was a prowler.
Have you had any trouble with vandals or trespassers?
Well, there was that one time that the pump didn't work because the vandals took the handle, but nothing since then. We'll have someone watch your house, don't worry. Well, never too early to chop some wood.
Let's get away from it all. There's this hotel out in Colorado I hear needs watching over the winter. It'll be great for a little getaway.
Hello. Everybody wanted to come over to welcome you to the neighborhood. It's all right, isn't it?
No, I don't think it's all right. It's really not all right. I thought I'd just let myself in and take off my pants. It's all right.
Did you leave the beer?
Where's my sausages? George goes to the library and steals a book.
He meets up with Jeffrey at a bar.
George, your business is going down the toilet. Why did you have to marry that woman?
How's this for crazy? Bam!
And then they sit down and have a beer.
Kathy goes to close the window, and there's glowing eyes! Karen stops by, and all three of them are looking through these old books. John Ketchum of Salem, Massachusetts.
They ran him out of Salem for being a witch.
Oh, Salem. He opens up this whole community, which is now Amityville. He builds a house on this wretched place.
Get cleaned up. Take Kathy out to dinner.
Come on, man, it's 1979. Take her out to Arthur Treacher's or Burger Chef. Let's go check out your house. I gotta go in that house. That house is full of ghosts, and I'm gonna see them.
I'm very sensitive about these things.
And I want to get freaky with a ghost.
Let's go down to the basement.
George breaks through the wall, and there's a red room, a secret room.
And Karen gets possessed by the voice of Father Delaney.
The passage to hell.
A portal to hell. Greg, this is getting really scary. You won't fool me this time, phone.
I do not understand. I don't want to talk to Khrushchev. Hey, what's wrong with the cross? It's been inverted.
Their house is haunted by Ozzy Osbourne. They're still in the house? Father Delaney is in church. Dear Lord, bless this mess. Amen.
He's going to do a long-distance dedication to the house.
By the power of your spirit.
And by the power of Grayskull.
With gifts of love.
Is this bringing back the Catholic for you?
Yeah. God, Jesus, save this family.
Give them strength in the name of our Lord.
Jesus H. Christ. It didn't work. I knew I should have prayed to Jesus Christ on a pogo stick. He is struck blind.
Take that. Watch out. Dream! Oh, jeez. Okay, good. That was a bit sudden for me.
Kathy goes to the library, and she's looking at the microfilm reader, which is an old-timey device, and she sees the article about the Amityville murders, and there's a picture of the guy who did the murders, and he looks just like George. Oh, my goodness. She drives home.
The last night.
That's the axe murderer walk. He's doing that really well.
He sees in the window, the window pig! You laugh. I was very scared of that pig when I was a kid. I guess it's time to kill the family, so he goes inside. Amy! He goes all choppity-chop on the door.
Gives him a little Here's Johnny treatment. Shining. Here's Johnny. The Shining. You know that scene.
Kathy attacks him. She turns into an old lady for a second.
George, please don't do it. Oh, Kathy, it's you. You've shaken me out of my mania.
Okay, I wouldn't hurt you.
Only the kids.
Let's get out of here, but the whole house has started bleeding. It's a fixer-upper. So they hop in the van.
Father Delaney couldn't escape. What makes you think you can?
I want Harry!
And George goes back for the dog. He falls through the stairs into a pool of goo.
The dog starts attacking him.
Because he thinks he's a gooey devil.
No, it's me.
Harry, we struck oil. We're going to be rich. But then the dog's decides instead to save him.
Kids, you had better appreciate this.
And off they go to another state. But what state?
They never went back to that house again because it is the source of the Amityville Horror. Buzz buzz, it's the Amityville Horror, and we've watched it finally.
We did.
It's the horror of these people are being punished for no reason. They don't deserve this at all. And also, none of the rules apply.
What do you mean by none of the rules?
The rules of physics, the rules of the world as we know it, we don't know what's going to happen.
Mm-hmm. Telephones don't work. Cars can get possessed.
Flies appear and disappear in rooms.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
yes.
Anything goes.
Yeah.
I have Stephen King's book, Danse Macabre, here, and he makes some interesting assertions about the Amityville Horror. He says that it not only is a supernatural horror movie, but also an economic nightmare. Because really, if you take away all the ghosts, everything that happens to this family are typical things that happen in a money pit house. Plumbing is bad. The stairs fall apart. There's flies for whatever reason.
It makes your priest throw up.
It's a house that literally swallows money. The ultimate nightmare of a man with a small business, a man with a family, is that you're going to buy a house and it's going to bankrupt you.
I think that there is another thing that this movie is about. The great change that George has gone through. He meets a beautiful woman. She has 3 kids. They get married, and suddenly he gets thrown into this family.
And thrown into this religion.
Mm-hmm. Yes, a religion which is very foreign to people who were not raised in it.
I wish they would have played up both of those things more in the beginning, because I think those are important details, and I didn't catch on until the middle of the movie. But as George is descending into his madness, which happens very quickly, maybe a little too quickly, that religious divide could be something that drives them further apart. I converted to this religion for you. I don't believe this crap. The secret red room was a point when the movie really kicked into high gear. I thought that was a nice touch, but I didn't think they did enough with it. I wanted someone to go in that room.
Isn't that the night you move out?
Oh, yeah.
Everything's weird at that point.
But that goes back into the idea of the economic horror of the film.
God damn it, this is my house!
It's an investment they don't want to lose.
Yeah, and that's also another reason why the religious aspect should have been played up, because that could have been another thing that kept them in the house. We can't just run away. God is going to protect us. If we run away, we're losing our faith in God.
Yeah, let's talk about Steiger. It would be very easy to say that Steiger goes way overboard with this movie, but I think that Steiger was the right man for the job. This is a guy who has to show up and within 2 minutes has to have this weird physical breakdown, and he has the intensity to pull that off. And then he has to have the intensity throughout the entire movie.
He's playing it huge, but I don't think he's overdoing it.
No. When you go huge, half the audience is going to say he's hammy. And when you play subtle, half the audience is going to say he's sleepwalking through a performance. I don't believe for a minute that this is a true story. Yeah. But when it gets to haunted house stories, people are going to believe. Haunted houses are kind of conspiracy theories with no conspiracy. It's just kind of like this collected dream that we have.
I don't know if you noticed this, but in those first murders, the guy walks through the house blasting a shotgun, and all of his victims are fast asleep. There's something I find myself enjoying in old movies more and more. Conversations on landlines. The dials that they twist, they got the cord, they're holding the cord nervously.
You can only go so far with them.
The phone can just ring and ring and ring, because there's no answering machine.
Well, something I miss about answering machines is saying, pick up, pick up, pick up, pick up, pick up.
Did your mom tell you that when you call someone and there's no answer, you're supposed to just let it ring 10 times and then hang up?
Probably.
That was ingrained in my head from an early age.
Did you count?
Oh, yeah.
The secret weapon of this movie? The woman who played Karen. I don't know who that was, but that scene when she looks into the portal and her face starts contorting, the weird twitching and the extension she's doing, that moment, that I think might be the scariest moment in the movie.
That is a really, really frightening scene. One significant dropped offer in this is the cop is set up to be this guy who comes in and saves the day in the third act, and he just disappears.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know that I think much of James Brolin.
I can't think of another movie I've seen him in, although I know he was in a bunch of stuff back when we were kids.
Well, he was in Pee-wee's Big Adventure.
What? Oh, yes, of course. He played Pee-wee.
And he was really perfect in that role because he just played sort of this bland James Bond type.
Yes.
But when he's called upon to really stretch himself like in this movie, he's just okay.
I thought he was quite good in this movie.
Okay.
That He had the lurching intensity as he's going through the house.
He does have a good physicality.
Yeah.
Margot Kidder is really good.
What was up with her looking like an old woman for a second?
That was weird.
Yeah. It still scares. It still has thrills. It might not logically make sense, but still, you feel for the family. You don't want them to die.
Logic doesn't matter because the rules don't apply.
Yeah. Another state.
We have now foreclosed on the Amityville Horror. We want to thank you for watching it with us, and now we'll thank you to watch Seen It.
Seen It!
Our theme for tonight's Seen It, of course, is horror.
Boogie, boogie, boogie.
Tyler Gilstrap. I really liked The Dead Don't Die. Seen It.
Not seen it.
This is Jim Jarmusch doing a balls-out comedy. And if Jim Jarmusch does a comedy, you know it's going to be very strange. Mm-hmm. It's going to be slow. Mm-hmm. And it's not going to make you laugh. Every movie has a sort of magnetism to it. It's something that pulls you from scene to scene. And also, it gives you the sense that you're being pulled toward a conclusion, a satisfying ending. And if this movie has a compass needle, it's just spinning all over the place. This movie is a mess. It is Jim Jarmusch's worst film. He's got all his ringers. Adam Driver, Bill Murray, Chloe Sevigny, Steve Buscemi.
Iggy Pop's in it, isn't he?
Iggy Pop playing a zombie, which is the role he was meant to play ever since he wrote the song Nightclubbing. That's a joke just for me, I guess.
Yes.
The theme song that Sturgill Simpson, the country musician, wrote for it is really, really good. And it plays constantly throughout the movie. So that's one bright spot.
Fran Newhouse writes, The Black Coat's Daughter. It started out spooky, but the end didn't make sense at all. Fran, I totally disagree. It did start out spooky, but it does make sense in the end, but you really, really have to think about it. Now, have you seen this?
Nope.
It's a Satan panic movie happening at a Catholic girls' school. After everyone else goes home for winter holidays, 2 girls are left behind in the dorms and a few nuns. Just how it uses sound. And when I was a kid, my parents were teachers, and so I spent a lot of time in empty schools as they'd be doing work there, and just having that thrumming noise of heating systems and other weird mechanical things, and all of that adding up to something extremely dark sitting in the corner. Thinking about these moments in the movie terrifies me. I almost got hit by a car afterwards because I was thinking I was just lost in the movie so much, and I walked into a crosswalk on University Avenue.
Freddie Thornton, Cujo? Seen It.
Cujo, Seen It.
It has that quality that a lot of movies from the late 70s and early 80s have, where it just feels like a TV movie. Mm-hmm. It doesn't have a cinematic feel to it. But the story is good and it's well told.
It's a tricky thing to put on film because half the movie takes place in a car where a mother and her son are trapped by this rabid dog.
The book and the movie have totally different endings. Mm-hmm. I'm not going to give anything away. There's a big thing that happens at the end of the book, and that thing doesn't happen at the end of the movie. And I think both endings work, because the movie has a different vibe than the book does. And so that ending is appropriate for the movie. So I have a fun fact about Cujo.
Yes?
The titular dog was played by 4 different St. Bernards, several mechanical dogs, a black lab Great Dane mix in a St. Bernard costume, and a stuntman in a St. Bernard costume.
Hopefully not the same one that the dog had to wear.
Yeah, right.
Dave Howard writes, The Invisible Man, where Claude Rains is a psychotic asshole from the very first frame, who also bothered to wear a toupee under his Invisible Guy bandages for some reason.
Seen It.
This was Claude Rains' first movie.
How do you think he did?
He was fine. It worked. I didn't find the movie all that scary.
The chemical that he's taking to make him invisible is also driving him crazy.
Yeah.
Again, it's a situation where the rules don't apply. You don't know what this guy's going to do.
What does he do? He kills a lot of people. He kills 100 people. They say the number 100 after they're all dead.
I still am impressed by the special effects.
The first shot of invisibility, I couldn't see the edges of it at all. As the movie goes on, it's clear.
Get out. Nah, I'm just kidding. Come on in to our website, welcometothebasementshow.com. You can see all of our episodes there, and there are PayPal donation buttons that you can click on with your little clicker to donate any amount to support this show.
Give me an example of someone who did that.
Sean and Erica. Thank you, Matt, Craig, and Tona, for all the years of entertainment. My wife and I have been longtime fans of the show, and it has brought us laughter and something to look forward to on a weekly basis. Cheers from Vermont.
The Green Mountain State.
To find out who the rest of our donors are and to see the exciting contents of our mail crate, you can watch Unboxing, which comes out this coming Friday. We'll see you next time here in the basement, and now you can see this.
Little ones to him belong, they are weak.
But Jody's strong.
Yes,
Jody loves me.
yes.
Jody loves me. Come on, sing along.